There's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach it, many men have failed. Well, if you wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. And I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. Will you find me? Hope you find me. I'll be back home soon. When the sun rises, when the sun we're trying to catch me out. Gonna take it to the max again. I got news. Don't you know the saying? If you break it, pay. Every time hanging on. Yeah, it figures it's my way, it's my life, it's my game, so you better get out. I will never be your woman. I will never be your woman. I'm gonna pack my way. I better shape my life and dance tonight. It won't let me go. It won't. I'm letting you know. Isn't that nice? Breathe it in. Gonna take it to the max again. Max again. I got news. Don't you know the saying? If you break it, pay. Every time hanging on. Yeah, it figures it's my way, it's my life, it's my game, so you better get off.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to what was it? Thirsty Thursday. We're gonna call this a sloshed Saturday. How about them animals? That doesn't even make sense, does it? Them, I believe
know.
the statement is these apples. How about them apples? That's my grandmother used to say, right? How about them apples? I'm gonna say, how about these animals? Because damn it, I'm back. And I'm going to say right now, let's get used to this. But as we all know, I may be speaking out of my beehole there, and who knows how long this will last. But for the time being, at least it is Demay, myself, and J Pink behind the helm here. Ray was on. We were having a good time in the pre-show with Ray, and then I think he ran into some PC issues and had to dip. Our guest of the evening, Paul, is running into some issues as well. He is in the midst of a work trip right now, and I think he got caught up in some side action. Is that the appropriate term there, Demay?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if
some
side
sleight of
action
hand?
is. I'm not sure if that's quite the term. He might be having an early sloshed Saturday. Side action to me would entail something to do more with front or rear action and less of the side action.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe front
I
rear
get
at the
really
same time.
confused.
I don't know.
We should have a Gen Z consultant come on and explain, bring us up to snuff. You know, like just give us a rundown of the latest trends and terminology and stuff that
probably
goes
somebody
on
on
out there in the world.
Fiverr or Upwork we can hire for like somebody from the Philippines for like $7 an hour. Come on here and just give it to us. Give it to us. We're losers. Time has passed us by. Nobody cares. You're wearing a shirt from 1985. I've barely showered. mean, who cares though, right? That's what we're here. We're not here to impress anybody. I think that's the thing. Now, if we had,
You know,
go ahead.
what the point I was going to make, one of my favorite things that when people get asked, when people ask me is like, hey, what's the, talk to me about what it's like being on YouTube for, 5, 6 years or however long it's been now. And, I never have a plan. Like I go into things and I think I'm like, oh yeah, I got a plan. I've got a good idea of what I'm going to do and all this. You know what the real secret to YouTube is?
I have an idea of what it is. Let me ask and see if this is what it is before you tell me. Is it having
Okay.
432,000 subscribers telling people they're worthless and weak if they don't apply fertilizer? Is that it? If it is, then there's something to shoot for here. But you tell me. I would love to hear your definition of success.
Oh, stop giving a shit about how people perceive you. Um, I think that is it's the most freeing thing. Put you a sign up on the wall that says FTP, and you can create the acronym of choice. To let that guide you in the morning when you wake up, and let it apply to all facets of your life. If there's anything that YouTube has taught me is losing the ability to give a shit about how people think about you or perceive you it's incredibly liberating, and it really does. It carries over into all aspects of your life, and I think it's not just a tip for YouTube and YouTube quasi success, but it's also a tip for uh, you know a better career, a better self-employment experience, a better corporate employment experience. I know we're supposed to have a show. I got to get something off my chest here, Debate. I got
Oh
to tell you
boy.
about what happened to me this week.
Let's hear it.
I
I'm listening.
I got
This is a
Ray
safe
is back.
space.
All right.
Is it no? See,
Yeah,
now Ray's here.
Ray's
so
camera
this
isn't working. His audio is, but
Ray is our
Oh.
Gen X consultant, and so this is you're in a safe space now, Matt. So please share what happened with you this week.
Ray is our Gen Z uh, destroyer consultant.
That's true.
Jesse,
Oh,
yes,
man.
I did do that in the gym today, but more so, I had someone reach out to me on LinkedIn, and it was someone who was looking for a green industry um, uh, market research speaker. So they had a client that was wanting to do research on the industry, and they were looking for someone to speak on some specifics of the industry, specifically people that had been employed as spray technicians for decent sized lawn care companies. But also, they had to have in-depth experience into the environmental aspects, manufacturing aspects, and all this stuff. So that was why they specifically reached out to me. So
It's an interesting
I
mix of
it was weird, right? And I was like, "Is this a setup? Is this real?"
sounds
And
like it. Yeah.
and according to the thing I had to sign, I can't name the company that was looking for this particular client. Um, but so I called just to verify everything was what real, and did the Google foo and all that fun stuff, and it was a legit. They are an intermediary, right? So they have a client that is looking for someone to ask these questions to, and so I was like, yeah, all right, we'll do it, and they scheduled a time, and these people called me, and DeMay, I learned about 15 to 20 seconds into this call, it was they were looking for specific kinds of answers. Let me put it this way.
I understand what you mean.
It
I've
was
been on those
almost
calls.
it was almost as if they were asking me questions about a former employer to
Oh.
hang them out to dry.
Oh shit.
It was really weird.
Did they
And
record?
I don't
Did they
want
record
to. Yes.
it? Did they? Okay, good.
Yes,
Oh,
they did. And what was so bizarre about it were I could tell from the get go because when they mentioned this company by name, like the first question they dove into was like immediately about PPE training, and
Mm.
then it went through like very specific details, and then in the later questions it moved into like company culture and stuff. And I knew from that first question it was some sort of targeted, probably nefarious type of market research. And I got to say,
that might not be market
whether I
research, Matt. You know what that might be?
who- what do you think it was?
Okay, that is somebody doing research for a legal case against that company.
That I was wondering about that. That was
Yes, I
also
mean,
floating in the back
you
of my
see
head.
that's the kind of stuff that you ask when you're about to haul somebody's fucking ass into court, so that way, you basically have all of your facts, information, etc., ready to go. And so when that company is on the witness stand, you got him. Okay, you got him.
Well, I will say this is that this company that I worked for was one of my favorite companies I ever worked for. And I was very defensive of this company because, much like DeMay has taught me to stop giving a shit about how people perceive you, that particular company I worked for, I had a manager that taught me it was okay to stick up for myself in the service industry, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
at my previous employer, it was very much, the customer's always right, and you do what they tell you to do. You bend over, you get poked in the forehead by a customer, you go spray their lawn the next week anyway, and just hope they're not there and don't cost you outside again. This next one, my boss told me was like, no, you stick up for yourself and you don't let them talk to you that way because you're still a human being and they should treat you like a human being, right? And so anyway, I was very defensive of this company, and I'll be curious to see how it all plays out. But I don't know.
No,
It was
no,
nuts,
I
and
have
it was really bizarre because
legitimate
they paid.
concerns.
It was a
Yeah.
29-minute phone call, and they paid me $100. I was like,
Oh
all right,
no.
I'll take it.
Oh no. I mean,
So it probably
that's
was a legal thing, huh?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's just basically counsel doing its research. And Jesse's agreeing with me, okay? Jesse Busquets is down there agreeing with me.
I see. I see.
Yeah. So,
J- J- Jesse, I know what company you worked for. It was not that company. I'll
mhm.
talk to you about it in private and kind of loop you in on some more details, Jesse, since he is our sponsoring attorney. By the way, listen, I know there are some degenerate bastards in this chat right now, and I'm not judging. I'm not here to cast a stone. You're looking at a full fledged degenerate right here in front of you. I have been in violation of the law many times in my life, many, many, many times. And you know what? I only wish I would have had someone in my pocket that I could have picked up the phone and called, like Jesse Busquet. Gentlemen, if you ever find yourself on the other side of the law, in whether you're in the state of Massachusetts or Rhode Island, or it's a federal case, even a federal case, reach out to our resident supporter here, Jesse Busquet, and get your shit taken care of. jbusquetlaw.com. Check it out. He's the man. Uh, boys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a lot of fun. I was so nervous going into this, but it's like riding a bike. Once you get into it, you get it. It's been a
Hey,
long
I
time,
mean,
Demay. It's been a
yeah, yeah.
while.
You've been away for a couple of weeks. I mean, but let me tell you, Matt, irregardless, we said you have stuff to take care of. We're going to carry the show anyway. We're going to carry the show
Y'all
no
are
matter what.
heroes. Don't let anybody tell you anything differently.
I would just randomly
Um,
flash.
what do you?
Oh, never mind.
No, go. No, say it again.
No, I was just gonna say I randomly, flashed the camera at several points just to make sure people were still watching. And we haven't got flagged yet, but there's still time.
Boys, how about we open up the phone lines and let's
Mhm.
hear from the community. Let's answer a few questions. Let's see who's
See where
breaking
it
what, who's
goes.
killing what. Yeah, who knows? So if you would like to call in, you can talk to us live right here, 304-804-7277. That is 304-80-GR-ASS. 304-804, uh, I'm sorry, 304-80-GR-ASS. 304-804-7277. We'll take your calls live. What are you thinking, Demay?
I don't know. I was just reading some of the comments here in the cord and on the chat. Yeah, we had a good call-in show last week. There's some good questions, some thoughtful questions.
Very
Some shit
much
I have no
Fleshy,
business answering.
I'm so sorry, Aran. I am really sorry.
What?
It's,
What do you do?
I feel so. I miss Lushy's show. I really do feel bad about it.
Well, hey,
Oh, listen, we
I
got
mean,
him set
no,
straight. We could no.
yeah,
Listen.
yeah,
Do you
stuff
know
got
the full story
handled.
of? Do you know what happened during that show? We had a 2-hour show with him. We had a really good show. I can't even remember who was in the after show. I mean, some of the usual characters, obviously, because those swinging dicks are pumping out such bad content with regularity that it's hard not to
They
feature
can't
them.
help
But
it. They can't help
yeah,
themselves.
I'm sorry. It's like Ray. It's like binging Netflix. It just happens to come out once a week or whatever. So, but Ray stayed on with
Mhm.
Lushy, I think, until roughly 4 a.m. Eastern time, and
Yes, you
continued
know
to go
what?
through
After the
every
after the
last
show,
detail.
every last detail, like Lushy basically wanted to set up the fine details of how to get shit did, and they said, "Okay, Lushy, we'll sort that thing out." And especially his pain in the ass is bent grass. Okay, he hates bent grass as much as I hate Zoysia. And
We'll
I
take.
g-
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'll get it. No, and I get it because apparently bent grass looks ugly unless it's mowed low and properly taken care of. It just looks like a furry, straggly, lanky mess with various states of discoloration on top of that. So it's not pretty. It's like, what did you say, Ryan? Lawn herpes?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that with and this isn't just your basic run its course lawn herpes. This is the lawn herpes that there's fresh red sores, pus is oozing out of them. It's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, that kind of herpes.
To the roots. I remember missing your show too, and I'm incredibly sorry as well. That's why I was answering. Listen, I was answering your text messages when I was suspended 26 feet in the air. And if there's one thing you don't know about me is I am incredibly afraid of heights.
Of
I don't
everything.
like
Oh,
my
sorry.
own height. Yeah, of everything. Yes, heights in particular. And to give you an example, I wear either a watch or a heart rate monitor. We got a caller.
What a caller.
Caller, you're live.
Caller, you're
Can
live.
you hold just one moment so I can finish my thought?
Okay.
Okay. To the roots. So I am suspended in the air, and my heart rate just while I'm in the air is 145 beats a minute, just because I'm afraid of heights. And I was
Wow.
answering your text messages, so I promise. I'm sorry I missed your show too. Caller, you're live. Thank you for joining us on the air.
Hello, fellas. This is a great
How are
Fox
you, sir?
over in Seymour.
Oh, Gray
Hey.
Fox, you slide dog, you. What are you doing?
Hey.
Well, I'm so far this week I've dug out 20 gallons of Poa Triv. I don't really have another choice, do I?
Not really.
No, sir.
No. No.
20,
Okay, you could
20
you
gallons
could
of digging. You're a hero.
you
You're a
could
man among men, Gray Fox.
you could move.
I didn't
Ray,
think I
it
had
would
think
a
follow
about
choice.
you. This is
think
East
about
Tennessee. It's everywhere.
Well, sorry. I mean, of course, I do have a third way, but that involves keeping that place dirt for 2 years and then reseeding.
Jeez, Ray.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
That's too intense. I mean, I don't know that we'll maybe we will see herbicide for it in our lifetime. Like there's some promise with
well,
um
Procure, yeah,
Poacure
Procure.
it's never gonna not get labeled for greens though. Although they are
Yeah.
going, I'll tell you, here's the thing. I found this interesting and I saw this up in Providence when I was there, gentlemen, is they were
Mhm.
courting distributors, which tells me that obviously like they're trying to sell more product, which tells me they're probably gonna get some push from those distributors. Hey, like, why don't you try and label it for something other than putting greens?
Golf
Like
only.
fairways, sports fields, home lawns. Although it could get a little dicey spraying that on a home lawn. I'm just saying, like, you'll find out really quickly what you got and what you don't got, and that could be
Yeah.
a little problematic for some people.
Well, here's the thing though, is that you know what that Procure stuff, and this is just me going off of my own experience with the difference between spraying high cut grass and low cut grass, is that high cut grass tends to give you a slightly wider margin of error regarding what you apply to it and how much you apply to it, because I know I get looked at as the crazy guy because they ask me, Ray, you sprayed what on that 1/10 height Bermuda, or you sprayed what on that 1/10 height T-strip aspalum? And I say, yes, I did, but it's all in the rate and method of application.
And this guy who developed Pocure did so under his own pocketbook, if I recall correctly. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you think about from the standpoint of what if you have another Umbrellas disaster and the weight of the world
Mm.
falls on this guy. There's no amount of insurance in the world that can prepare you for that level of disaster. So it makes sense in some regard why you don't see it. I guess he would have to sell the AI to one of the bigger boys for that kind of support. I
Well,
get it, not wanting to do that.
yeah. Well, he'd have to sell the AI to a bigger company willing to assume the liability, because right now my understanding is that the Procure active ingredient is manufactured by a small chemical company in Korea, South Korea.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A very small company. It's not a large. I don't recognize that company as like one of the big companies in Korea. It's really small. So they'd have to like sell to, say, Syngenta. I don't know, or Bayer. I mean, Bayer has experience taking on products with high liability. I mean, because Bayer, out of all companies, I mean, because look at all of their high liability products, Matt. Bayer.
Yeah.
Well, they
It
just
No,
sold
and
it
I'm not.
too.
paid out recently.
Yeah, no, and I'm not talking about the glyphosate,
Yeah, I
because
mean they
Ba-
carry a lot of
because Bayer
AIs
was
that are under the gun.
Nemacure, Glutathione, Parathione, all the all the wild stuff. Bayer did it.
And to get back to, I know Ron hung up. I'm sure he's still listening, but to get back to your point, Ron. Unfortunately, no. There's a lot of experimentation you could do, but at best, you might kill one out of 1,000 plants, and that you're going to be spending a significant amount of money to kill that one out of 1,000 plants. We got another caller. We'll see what's going on. Caller,
Hello?
you're live on the air. Thank you for reaching in. How are you?
Good. How you doing? How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing damn good. How are you? I know who this is.
Do- Hey, I just wanted to call and say thanks to you
TLG.
guys. Yeah, I just wanted to call and say thanks to you guys for your help because the soil test improved this year and couldn't have done it without you guys. So I just wanted to call and say thanks.
Well, no, thank
Proud of you,
you,
man.
and we can't wait to have you back on the show. And what's more important though is not just necessarily your soil test. What's most important then is the performance of your lawn improving year over year.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it is. I mean, there were some spots that were that suffered from some sort of damage last year, but I'm not entirely sure what it was from. It could have been a little bit of insects, some fungus, but I mean, it was way better than it was obviously that first year where it was just a shit storm. So, but yeah,
Well, that's the progression we've got to go, right? Because we know it has been ruled out that any of those issues are probably not being contributed to by your fertility, right? So now it's time to move on to the next piece of the puzzle because we've got fertility dialed in. How can we continue to capitalize and build momentum towards progress, right? So you've got some
sure.
mystery spots. All right, it's keeping a log of it, and that's a new data set and a date and a series of conditions that we can plug into the formula of trying to figure out how do we alleviate in the future from that taking place. And that's building those consecutive data sets that are going to give you the advantage of taking the lawn from 80% kicking ass to 90% kicking ass to 95% kicking ass. Hopefully, if everything lines up, or at least having a reactionary game plan if you have one of those wild years of extremes, abiotic stress extremes, or whatever the case may be, biotic stress extremes, and what kind of contingency plans do we have in the arsenal to be able to take it on?
Yeah, I know some of the spots that I had struggled with was partially due to I know there's quite a bit of rocks in certain areas that I just probably end up need to dig out. But overall, yeah, I'm just just kind of riding it right now and sticking to the game plan of what I did last year, trying to stay a little bit more on top of the fertilizing this spring because I think I fell behind a little bit last year during spring and was playing catch up a little bit, but um, but yeah, that understanding that growth potential stuff actually helps out as well. Just making more or making wiser applications of my fertilizer as well. So, but yeah, it's all been a tremendous help and just cool to see those improved results on the soil test. I know I've reached out to you guys quite a bit on the Discord, and I know you guys are busy, so I apologize for the continued messaging on there. But yeah, I just
Fine,
wanted to
man.
show you guys my appreciation. So
We love you, Ben.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. How's
so anyway,
everything going on at home? I know you've got you got a lot of little ones over there. Are you managing to stay sane?
yeah, it's a zoo. Um, that's pretty much all it is. Just trying to keep it together. We're about to get back to reality here soon. Whenever my wife's off maternity leave, and then I'm back to being solo at the house. So, but no, it's going well. It's been been really cool to have our first girl. So that's been the cool thing about it all.
Bless your
Ah.
heart, my friend. Ah,
Mm.
I feel for you.
Oh boy.
But
Yeah,
well, yeah, I'll let you guys go. I just wanted to give you guys a quick call and say thanks for all the help and keep doing what you guys are doing.
You as well, sir.
yeah.
We thank you.
Thank you.
You too, Ben. I mean, yeah, you too.
Alrighty, you guys have a good night.
All
Take it
right,
easy,
you too,
man.
You
Ben.
will.
There he is, Ben the Lawn Guardian. Check him out on YouTube. We had a couple comments we'll answer from the chat right here. The first one was from Rising Creek Outdoors, and this is kind of a fun one here. And he said, curious how you keep two different cultivars from invading one another. Like if I want to use the Kentucky Bluegrass Hybrid for a rough and Arden 15 for my green. The first thing that sticks out there to me is Arden 15 for a green. That is a seeded, improved common variety that I probably would not use for that scenario. I don't know what you intend your height of cut to be, but I would seriously reconsider that for a true hybrid. We got a caller, but I'll put him on hold real quick. Caller, you're live. Can you hold for us just for a second?
Sure can.
Is this Rising Creek Outdoors? Let me ask that first.
No.
Okay. I know who this is. I recognize the accent.
All right.
All right. Hold for us just
When you're
1
ready.
second here. Keeping there's two ways to do this. More than likely, your Bermuda grass would be invading your Kentucky bluegrass and not vice versa. And an easy way to there is no real easy way to keep that out. You'd probably have to use something like a Pylex or a Fusilade. Anything else I'm kind of missing out there, DeMay or Ray, that y'all would do to keep that
I wouldn't
separated?
spray it. I would mechanically edge it like once a
Okay,
month.
that
Ooh,
that is
ooh.
exactly what I was thinking. Is that I've seen how, like on the golf courses where they have to keep rough and fairway variety Bermudas out of the greens, where the protocol is every week run the steel bladed edger all around the green and just cut a line. Just cut a line every week. And that is the surest way. And by the way, that is probably my best bet regarding keeping the Bermuda in the green and not going into the KBG. But the other thing is that here's what I know about Arden 15. It does not like to be maintained at heights under 3/8 of an inch. You
Yeah, I
can
think
do it.
green might be a relative term here. That's
Yeah,
one thing.
but I'm just saying that you can take Arden 15 down as low as you want, but
Mhm.
you will have a textural issue and you'll have a color issue because common seeded varieties do not like being mowed at 1/10 of an inch.
Caller, is this Barthoda? Is that who has called in?
Yes, it is, Matt. This is Dan. Hi, Matt. Hi,
Hi,
Ray. Hi,
Daniel.
Ryan.
Hi.
What are you
Hey,
doing?
what's up? Oh my
Trying to grow some
God.
grass.
Oh man.
I'm so happy to talk to you guys.
All
We appreciate you
right.
calling in.
All right. So I've been trying to put together all these various calculators and spreadsheets that I see flowing through Discord. And if you look in Dirty Deeds, I just put together a plan. I put it out there, and I got some feedback from our wonderful community. It's so good that everybody participates in there. But I would like you guys to let me know if I'm
Holy
on
shit.
drugs with the amount of sulfur I have in that plan.
Let's
And
see
J Pink,
here.
if you want to bring it up, that's fine.
Oh
Here,
yes.
J-Pink, I-
Actually, J Pink actually did, and 5 pounds of sulfur per application. Okay, Daniel. I don't remember if I asked you this, but do you have a good irrigation system to water this stuff in?
My irrigation system is pretty good, yes.
Okay, that's then you can kind of do this, because I was going to say that if this was on non-irrigated cool season grass, that's a lot of sulfur. But because you're
Yeah.
irrigated, uh, there can be some allowances made, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sulfur and no irrigation equals brown grass.
What is your soil pH? You're at a
7.6.
7.6. I is
I'm
this
not
is this a
freaking out.
bit aggressive for a pH 7.6?
No, because
No?
look at his calcium. His calcium levels are just like poor Daniel's trying to grow grass on pure limestone, almost.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if
It's
the
Uh-huh.
sulfur's gonna.
Well, that's what the citric acid is for. The citric acid
Yeah.
drops it down enough for the sulfur to finish the job, so to speak.
So we're gonna do. Let's see here.
I would
5 pound
say
app.
if you did that this year, I think you could be aggressive this first year, and then next year, I'm guessing that you could probably dial this back because this is really aggressive, like super aggressive.
Yeah.
And here's the other
Okay.
thing: where you are, you don't start warming up till when?
My last hard frost is May 10.
Wow.
See, I would not be putting down sulfur until June.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And the
You know,
reason why is that you need the microbial activity to convert that elemental sulfur into sulfuric acid. And you're probably not going to have it until June. And so what's going to happen is that you're
Yeah.
going to have 5, 10, 15 pounds down
Sitting there.
and all, yeah, just waiting to go. So I would scrap apps 1, 2, and 3 of sulfur. Now, the other thing
Yeah.
too is, hang on, where are we? Why are you applying the just a starter fertilizer? Wait, when are you doing this? You're doing 3 apps in the spring, 1 at the end of the year? In
Yeah.
my opinion, and you're gonna get 3 different answers from all 3 of us here, um, that is entirely too much pee for how old is your lawn?
I think it was planted in the 70s.
Mm,
I would
okay.
apply just 1 app at the end of the year and, or, you know, maybe somewhere around, um, August timeframe, maybe. I'm thinking about where you are. Maybe 1 app, if any at all, to be honest, because you're already at 41 parts per million. You're high pH. You're within the zone. Um, I I personally would not apply any. I would stick to your ammonium sulfate. You've got more than
Yeah.
enough potassium to worry about potassium. So I would ditch your sulfur applications until June. I would ditch your September sulfur application. I would replace your starter fertilizer applications with ammonium sulfate. It should save you a shit ton of money. And in my opinion, I don't think you would see any difference in results. I'll let the other
Okay.
guys talk to their thoughts.
Okay. That was just my thought as well, is that I like to see sulfur go down in the warmest part of the year, provided you have the water for it, right? And the other thing too is at 40 something parts per million and you're doing a high cut cool season grass, you don't need that much phosphorus. You really don't. I mean, because cool season grass gets by on rather low amounts. Because who was it, Ryan? Who was that researcher that finally saw phosphorus deficiency, but the phosphorus test was in like single-digit parts per million before he saw the deficiency symptoms exhibited.
Doug Soldat and University of
Oh
Wisconsin
yes,
Madison, and I believe it was like he went from like 7 parts per million to like 3. That was the difference. Literally, like he was at like 5 maybe, and was still fine. And then it got to 3, and it was like, oh hey, the grass is purple.
Okay,
That's a problem.
okay, because you see, I always got to think about fertilizer recommendations too, in terms of what you're growing. Because if you told me, on the other hand, you were growing low-cut Zoysia or low-cut Bermuda or low-cut C-sharp espalum, then I wouldn't consider that the phosphorus level you have acceptable. But because you're growing a higher-cut cool season grass, you have a lot more leeway. It doesn't
Right,
need as
right.
much at all. I mean, you can essentially skip the starter, maybe throw down one application in the late summer, early fall if you want to, but the majority of your nitrogen and the majority of your fertilizations could be just ammonium sulfate and maybe some chelated micronutrients if you want more green, more blue, more color. But other than that, Let's Go starter is, I think that's like buying a bag of silver or gold right now. given the fertilizer prices,
Not cheap.
Yeah,
Not
yep.
at all.
The reason
Go
I
ahead.
hit that P was because I looked at the fertilizer recommendation, and I keep hearing Malik 3 doesn't give proper P recommendations because of my high pH. So I doubled it.
It does. You double. However, again, going back to what we know about the cool season grasses and how efficient they are with low levels of phosphorus, you don't have to pile it on necessarily. You don't have to do that. It just is not needed. And in fact, in some cases, my concern becomes when there's too much P, guess what moves in? Poa annua. Because Poa annua just loves a lot of phosphorus. So sometimes in a cool season lawn, I would utilize phosphorus starvation as a means of Poa mitigation, so to speak.
No, it's true. I mean, it's something that they figured that out a long time
on the
ago
golf green, on the golf greens. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the plan you put together, I mean, this full court press, man, like there, and I'm not faulting you for doing it. I think if it were me, or I was in the same situation, the thing I would be telling myself is, this is a marathon, not a sprint with pH. I would be leaning heavier on the citric acid and less on the sulfur to start and see how that moves my number and get comfortable with that before we go hard in the paint. I agree on the P thoughts that everybody else has had, including R. Kelly. And the
Drip.
I think the poo pee. Yeah. Yeah. So a couple things. The starter app, I would do one app in the fall, and I'd feel good about that. No issues there. I would focus just strictly on AMS and just getting that out there with your citric acid. So try to get yourself on. It looks like you have like kind of like a every 2 week program. So that could be citric acid and then AMS, citric acid, then AMS, and just rock that out this summer. Maybe slip in 1 or 2 apps of sulfur. I'd be fine with like a June and an August app and call it good. And then I think you have I think you'll have really good success with that. I'd be anxious to see what your number is on pH once you get to the end of the year. So even if you want to send in like a little cheapy sample and get you a pH towards the end of the year, just see how it moved, that would be interesting to do. But focus on those things, and I think, like I said, a lot of this other stuff is going to take care of itself. You'll be surprised at the results of just staying, sort of basic on those 3 particular products and moving forward from there.
Yeah, it's all about
Awesome, guys. Thank
minimalism.
you.
Minimalism, Daniel, because you do not need, how shall I say, 5 different formulations of brown water to grow grass. Okay, you don't need it.
And,
Yeah.
somebody commented
Yeah.
said it's wild. I have low FOSS and Poe is going nuts. Here's another thing. What are you considering low FOSS? Is it low FOSS according to your soil test, or is it
Low phosphorus
because
fertilizer program.
because when we're talking about low FOSS, we're again talking about that serious low, sub 5 um, uh, P level, and in conjunction with an herbicide program to go along with it, right? So
Hmm.
it would a pure POA management strategy wouldn't just be starving at a P. It would be in combination with appropriate cultural practices and appropriate pesticide practices as well to support that.
Yes.
So
Yeah, proper treatments.
And
yeah,
don't forget
Mhm.
proper watering practices. Dry that stuff out.
Oh, yes.
and
Don't be afraid
I
to see a
think
little
we,
purple on that lawn.
is Daniel is in a good place because
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
I believe he's in Colorado, so it is not rainy in the summer in Colorado. So I guess that's why I think for him, for example, POA is not even an issue. And if POA becomes an issue in Colorado, it's because you're watering too much.
Yep.
Got it.
True.
Yeah.
Got it.
monkeys, I say that about the soil test because some soil tests will say, like 57 parts per million of phosphorus is low phosphorus. So, I would just, I would not pay attention to that graph on the soil test and, use, like for instance, MLSN as a guiding number for what would be considered low. Dan, thank you for calling in, sir. It's always good to hear your voice. Somebody made the comment that you have a nice spreadsheet on Maverick did, and credit where credit is
Mhm.
due. This sumbitch is beautiful, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. This
yeah,
is a beautiful looking
thanks,
spreadsheet. I mean,
Ryan.
that's for sure.
Thank you, Ryan, for putting that together. And Matt, I was using your one from Subvert. Using your one from
I
Subvert for the growth rate.
I copied and pasted that from Pace Turf. So shout out to Pace Turf and DeMay for putting together the sweet spreadsheets. For
All
those of you
right.
that don't know, Dan is one hell of an IT guy as well too. So basically, you can thank him if you're connected to the internet. So thank you for all you do, sir, and thank you for your support.
Hey, a very, very quick one just to finish up.
Yes.
Sure.
My aeration guy wants to know if I want to aerate. I've aerated spring and fall for the last 3 years, and I don't feel like I need it. Should I just do
You
it?
need it. Are you asking if you should do it in the spring?
Yes.
I would.
No, don't.
Okay.
Don't. I mean,
DeMay, you're looking funny over there. What do you think?
I would aerate on every fucking day that ends in Y. So I got no problem with it. Send it.
No,
How about that for confusion?
I'm strictly anti-aeration except in a specific use case. Otherwise, in a home lawn, I generally feel like the people selling aeration are similar to the people that are selling brown water. You know? It's a scam.
Guys, thank you so much for helping me, and everyone in the community, thank you for always helping me. I know I've got really, really stupid questions. I'm
No,
You don't.
here for the
Stop
long
that.
haul.
No,
Stop that.
no,
Stop it.
no. Your questions are not stupid.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate
Have a
it.
great evening.
Thank you, Dan. Stay safe out
Thank
there.
you.
Brian Morales said, "What herbicide do you recommend for spotted spurge and zoysia?" I saw Aldo comment with metsulfuron. That's a great one. Speed Zone is another good one that would work fine. Have at it. It's
Triclopyr.
not triclopyr. Yep,
Triclopyr.
that's right.
Actually, triclopyr. Triclopyr is kind of like my go-to for cleaning up broadleaf weeds in the winter in Zoysia. That's my go-to because it
Fluroxapyr
gets.
would be another good one.
Yeah, fluroxapyr. And by the way, apparently fluroxapyr is the AI that I can't get here.
Oh, man, I hate it for you because that's a good one. It really is.
Yeah, well, actually, I would like fluroxapyr for not necessarily turf grass, but for non-crop areas. Brush,
Makes perfect sense.
brush. I'd like that.
Evie said, "What are risks of too much sulfur apps?" I hear black layer, but what exactly does that mean? And first off, if you're applying too much sulfur, the big thing is an extreme amount of sulfuric acid really quickly, which is incredibly corrosive and will corrode the roots of your plants to death. Thank you, Monkey's Lawn Care. You can go to hell, but we appreciate that. That's an inside baseball. If you're new here, that's a thing I do.
The term of endearment.
It is. It really is. But I will kick your ass. No lie. And black layer. Black layer is an interesting one. You don't hear too many people talk about. Normally, when I think about black layer, I think about over application of micronutrients in general. But Demay, talk to us about what exactly black layer is.
Just a buildup of hydrogen sulfide, right? So you'll see it typically in areas that are very anaerobic, and not often will you see it on native soil per se. You see it sometimes, but particularly in sand-based root zones, right, where we have gases that get trapped, it can be a problem. So, you run the risk there of, again, high levels of hydrogen sulfide. It can degrade root mass, can degrade root depth. It can kind of seal off the soil there, depending on physical properties of the soil. So, yeah, it's not good. But from an overuse of sulfur, yeah, you have soil that's just impractical of growing pretty much anything, right? If you have levels of hydrogen or levels of sulfuric acid that are off the charts high, can't do it.
Right. Yeah. If you have a accumulation of sulfur in a concentrated layer, that's just like a layer of soil that's like too acid for any plant life to even exist.
We got another caller. Caller, you're
Hello?
live.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Oh boy.
Did I hear what I thought I heard?
Is right.
Listen.
You
What is going
old
on,
dirty
guys?
bastard, you. What are you doing, Timmy? What are you going to say
I
to me?
am sitting here. I'm sitting here. Glad to have you back, Matt Martin. How is you getting a night off?
Oh, look,
These two guys both work the most nights of anybody on the Discord right here. These two MFers.
That is true. That is true. Me and you, buddy.
What do you got going on, Timmy? Talk to me.
So my question, actually, I think Ryan DeMay is prepped for this one here, is can we discuss height of cut in the context of cool season grass in the transition zone, and in particular in the context of fungus? I feel like you hear a lot of different things. On one hand, there's, you want to keep your height of cut relatively high to encourage root growth. On the other hand, you want to keep your height of cut relatively low. So, fungal spores have less of a place to land, if you will. Can we dig into this issue?
Can we dig into this issue? Yeah, so depends on the species, obviously, right? So I'm
yeah,
assuming
well,
we're talking about,
you know who
let's
I am.
use yes. Yeah, I know. So Oh, shit.
Oh,
This has to stop. This has to stop. Hey, the dude said it best, right? This aggression will not stand, man. All right. So Matt doesn't know what that is. He has no idea right now what I'm talking about, but I had to drop it in there.
None.
Just go back up on your 26-foot lift. Let me know what your heart rate is. All right. So height of cut. If you're on bluegrass, mid-Atlantic, here's the risks that you run. What? Oh, what? I don't know what he was doing there. All right. So the couple of things that you need to be aware of. Number one is that you're absolutely correct that height of cut will influence rooting depth, right? So we know in particular that the taller the grass is, the taller the deeper the roots should be. In theory, but that's not always the case. It depends on the grass. Now, with your specific situation with Pro Vista is a very shallow rooted Kentucky bluegrass. It makes up for it by being very dense, having a very dense root mass. So that being said, water management plays a key there. And that sort of takes us into the whole disease thing, right? So because so much of what we get with disease risk profiles on specific species has as much to do with what they're predisposed to as it does the management side, right? The environment which we control in the disease triangle. So that all being said, to answer your question, I would feel comfortable on that particular grass, on Pro Vista, Kentucky bluegrass in the mid-Atlantic, at a height of 1.25 inches would probably be my floor.
Sure.
And at that lower height, I'm going to probably be on an enhanced fungicide program, a preventative fungicide program, because not only are we going through the rigors of a mid-Atlantic summer, but also too, regardless of what anybody will tell you, the plant is in a more heightened risk, right? We're predisposing it to a higher risk of disease development. So, that'll being said, the other side of that, like you said, you don't want to have. There's nothing fun about long and floppy Ray. Nothing.
Correct.
No.
Correct.
Can't be.
No one likes that.
Cannot be. Nobody likes that. Can't be too long and floppy. So, the people that say, "Hey, mow high, mow at 4 inches, this, that, and the other thing, mow it high, let it fly." Like,
no,
that's not good. So
no, I mean that's
and so I would say that it's as much about in your particular area, in your particular grass, about the water management first. Secondarily would be mowing height, and then third would be fungicides and your fungicide program that you have out there.
Sure. I mean, I think mine's pretty aggressive. So one thing to throw into the mix here, especially in my backyard, is shade. So it's pretty shady, honestly, for Kentucky bluegrass. I found when I took it down low last year, it seemed to suffer. I'm thinking there just literally wasn't enough leaf tissue there for photosynthesis. I think 1.25 sounds good for up front. I'm trying to think about the back. The back is also where I have more fungal issues. The front is full sun and windy as all hell. So honestly, outside of summer patch, I've never really treated for too much up there in my Kentucky bluegrass days. The back again has a fence, partial shade. It's kind of a complicated situation there. So that's where I'm doing more foliar apps. That's where I've seen dollar spot and gray leaf spot and things like that show up.
Yeah, so in tall fescue in the mid-Atlantic, man, like you're already behind the 8 ball. Brown patch, dollar spot are going to be ever present. As far
Pythium.
as Pythium too, but the biggest thing there, like I will tell you this, and it sounds dumb, and I know there's only so much you can do because of the dogs and the fence and everything like that, but air movement. The more air movement you have, so you were bringing ice home. Before, might be fun. It might be time to go steal a greens fan and have it installed in your backyard. I don't think anybody would notice.
What about a dew whip? Do you think that's? I mean, what I've done before is just wander around with the leaf blower, but would I have better results in terms of drying things out with a dew whip?
Yeah, a dew whip would be fine. So
sure.
Get yourself over to rrproducts.com. Let's see what they've got in the dew whip family right now.
I just use a garden hose.
You could use a garden hose. Dew whip's a
that
little
sounds
more.
way less cool, Matt Martin. That's way less cool. Like a dew whip is cool. Like a dew whip, like who else Yeah, like I mean, I'm not on YouTube for lawns, but like, who on YouTube is using a do whip? You know,
I'll
where's
tell you
real
what.
low dad? We
We're,
need to get
we're
real low dad a do whip.
no, we're talking about this, and you know what's going to happen. Invariably, our good friend Princess Cut Lawns will do a do whip review coming up here. Just wait.
As
Just
long as it
wait.
doesn't come from Landsy, I'm sure it'll be great.
Oh, I guarantee you, the one I'm looking at right now
Worst thing on the
is
market.
made in China. $72 can be bluegrass. I will go ahead and
I can
have
make that work. I can make
Jeez,
that
throw
work.
that in the.
Jesse
what is
said,
that?
invite Telly Coleman over.
Oh my God.
Oh, Lord.
He doesn't need to
man,
do the
that's
whole
like that.
subdivision, fellas. Doesn't need to do the whole subdivision.
Lord. Yikes.
Zapow.
Ryan DeMay, I know you like to quote this Chris Rock thing. That reminds me of the Chris Rock joke about LeBron playing ice hockey with his dick. He wouldn't even need a stick.
Take that, Michael Jordan. Take that.
There you go. There you go. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate it. The thoughts as always.
Thanks for calling in. Thanks for calling
Yeah, of
in.
course. Have a good
Yeah.
one, guys. Yep.
All right, you too, Timmy. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. If y'all didn't know, head over to TikTok and type in Big Som Energy, Som short for sommelier, and show some love to Timmy, who is literally a legend over there. Especially
Yes.
if you're into energy drinks, because that man has taught me more about consuming caffeine than I don't know. He's up there with J Pink. J Pink normally has some good crack in a can as well too.
Oh, yeah.
If you would like to call in live on the show, feel free. 304-804-7277. That is 304. What is that?
80
3
GR ass.
304-80 ass. 304-804-80 ass. Thank you for hooking me up with that, DeMay and Aldo.
What?
I saw Aldo put that into the chat earlier, because we're part of the big booty squad, because that's what we do. That's our thing. Aldo and I have a thing, and it relates to big booties.
Show
Is
your
that-
belly button. What?
Is that everybody's thing? Is that just my thing?
Oh.
Is that me and Aldo, or is that's all of America, isn't it? That's the world.
Oh man.
No,
I'm just
if
saying.
somebody cannot appreciate a big booty, there's something horribly wrong with them, okay? Something horribly
Mercury-
wrong
They
with
need to
it.
get their
Listen.
T levels checked.
Yeah, check.
No, I was just
Yeah,
saying,
if-
listen. Wasn't even what Freddie Mercury was into, but he wrote a whole song about it. God bless the guy. I mean, you know what I mean?
he
Respect.
did. Respect for him, because he wrote the song for sure.
We had another caller here. Caller, you are live.
Going on, senoritos?
No.
And Mama e la verga.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Never been better.
Good. What
Really?
you got on the chopping block for tonight? Are you are we doing tacos? What are we doing?
Oh man, I did. How funny you bring that up. I did like a chorizo queso dip with Fritos,
shit.
and I had a 32-ounce Corona here. It's on deck. Been chilling, dude.
Oh man, Aldo. Oh,
Yeah. Hey, Aldo,
Chorizo.
no lie. I went to I was going down the road the other day, and there was a gas station where a bunch of Latinos were hanging out in the parking lot near a food truck. And I was like,
Mhm.
all right, I don't see any white people. It's a food truck. It's got to be legit food, right? Man, let me tell you, it was legit. It was good as hell, Aldo. And it gave El Idasol a run for its money, so it was good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the real deal, huh?
Yeah. think you would give
All
it the
right, I
seal
see
of
you.
approval. Well, what are you calling about lawns? You calling about boozing and losing? What you got on your mind?
Yes. It's just the grass question as always.
Okay.
I know you haven't been around, so I haven't really been keeping you in the loop of what's going on. But just today, this morning, I put out my real Bermuda seed. Finally, so we're fucking in go time right now.
Ooh.
I'm just thinking ahead, and I've always called in and about questions about like a month or 2 or 3 months from now. And before I get there, Matt, I hope you make it. I mean, I'm gonna be on the show here pretty soon, so hopefully you'll be able to be there. If not, I'm gonna have to send a BBL over to you and crush your head with her thighs. You know what I mean?
He already said it.
Man,
He already.
thick thighs save lives. I sign me up. Can we do both while on air?
Yeah, we could try. Definitely try.
All right,
So what I
you
was
got-
gonna ask
you got
was,
seed going down. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. So I mean, again, this is me thinking ahead, but should I be expecting to scalp this season, or or would that
Yes.
just depend on
Yes.
how quickly
Yes.
I can get that to grow in?
I'd say you will be, especially in your climate.
You're gonna be cutting low to set your height of cut after the Bermuda initially grows in. It's gonna happen. I mean, there's
Yeah, it was like a
after I
full,
s-
not like a full scalp, but yeah.
it's
go
not it's
ahead.
not like a dirt
Pre scalp.
like, maybe a pre-scalp.
First
I
scalp.
mean,
Oh, it's gonna be like a pre-scalp. Okay, all right, makes
yeah,
sense.
it's gonna be
Light,
it's not gonna be
light
it's not
coat.
gonna be it's not gonna be a dirt, because typically what happens is that with Bermuda seed, you let it grow up somewhat so that while it's growing up, it has a chance to establish a root system. And then once you do that little tug test on it, and it's like, okay, this thing is firmly rooted in, that's when you set your height of cut. And that may be a little bit like a pre-scalp at that point in time.
Okay, cool. Good to know. And on that, Brian, that was clutch with your light coat reference there. Sand is another question that I was gonna have. So I thought about getting a truckload of sand and just having it ready, and going out maybe once a week or once every other week with like a light coat of sand. Just putting some
Oh,
in the spreader, or
You're
you know
gonna
what I
do
mean?
it golf green style, 50 pounds per 1,000 square
Yeah,
foot.
that's
Is
what I
it?
figured. I mean, since I'm growing it in, and then I kind of just take advantage of that, just kind of go over and over and over and over, and I think that may help it
Yeah.
fill in a little better. I don't know, in my head, it does.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you're
it'll
good to
help.
go on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you can
fine.
get it through the
You're
spreader. Are you
fine.
just gonna lay it out in the driveway and dry it out, or every time? and
He's in
sweep it up and put it in,
California.
or what?
Everything is dry. Like he doesn't get
No, but
rain.
the
He's in the
sand's still
desert.
it's still gonna have some moisture in it.
So the sand 2 years ago when I sand capped, or not even a sand, it was just a top dressing, but all the sand I got was completely dry. So I could have ran that through a spreader if I wanted to, but I didn't. It was so much.
Look at you.
But I can get that same sand and just go out there and put it in the 50-pound hopper and just go out and go ham.
Yeah, then you'll be good. Wide open. Just go over it about 3-4 times. You'll be good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just 50 to 100 pounds of sand per 1,000 square foot, and you should be good. You really should be good, because in that case, you're kind of putting down the light coat. You're not burying the grass, and
Yeah.
that's going to kind of firm up the surface so that it's easy for you to put your good mower on it after. And I see something in the comments. Aldo, you need to manual mow for a month, and that's telly. While the grass is taking, you go back to your manual reel, because that is the lightest and lowest impact mower that you have.
Yeah, it makes sense. I would
Hang on.
imagine that
I'll throw a curveball at you.
Mhm.
I have done some where I let it grow to where it was relatively exceptionally tall. So say I was going to cut it at a half inch. I let it come up to an inch and a half, 2 inches, and then came in, scalped the shit out of it, and just maintained it at that low height of cut. Now, granted, this was on the days of using a Toro Triplex, and had no issues whatsoever. And that's it's a pretty heavy machine, but once it got up to that inch and a half, I mean, it was tough as hell, and I had no problems just going hard in the paint at it. So you can baby it along, but it is Bermuda at the end of the day, and getting a little aggressive with it, will that slow down or hinder your grow in? Maybe
No.
by
Mm.
a
Hard
few
to-
days or a week, but in the time scale
Not a
here
big
that you're
concern of us
working
yet.
with, exactly.
All right, okay. All right, yeah, that makes sense. I had thought about going with the manual at least, first few mows just to kind of see what it's all about. I wouldn't want to put the real mower on it and put all the weight and risk like tearing anything up. But again, like you said, it's Bermuda. It'll kind of fill itself in. So, yeah, that
Sure.
answers my question, gentlemen. Thank you. Appreciate your guys' time.
Hey, we appreciate
Keep
you,
doubting
Aldo.
yourself and calling in. We love you.
BBL for life.
For sure. And J Pink, go fornicate yourself. Have a good day, guys.
Wasn't fast enough on the hang up there. As soon as he said J Pink, I knew it was coming, and I couldn't get to that screen fast enough.
Oh, shucks.
You should have had your hand. You should have had your hand on the dump button.
Yeah,
Next time I will.
Hang up button.
We got another caller. Caller, you
gentlemen?
are live. What is going on? How the hell are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Good.
Oh, is
I
this-
do
is
not
this-
recognize your voice. Who are we speaking with?
Yeah,
Ear,
last
nose,
time
and
I
turf.
called in, you weren't here. It's Jake,
This
ear,
is
nose,
Ear,
and
Nose, and
turf.
Turf.
What's up, ENT, our local resident brain? How the
Yeah.
hell are you?
Resident, exhausted resident. I'm doing all right. Got to be up in, like 6 hours. But
That's
for
okay.
now,
Hey,
I gotta
serious question. Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're moving on to like week number 4 of the 100-hour work weeks, like, do you go through like these weird bouts of high emotional instability where like
Paranoia.
sometimes you just burst out crying for no real reason and then turn on K-pop to soothe your emotions?
Literally everything you said was correct except for the K-pop part.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
this
Hey,
is-
1 out of 2 ain't
Yeah,
bad.
I just
that-
soothe
that's
myself with just pure, tears. So that, I mean, it's tears mixed with hot shower, cold shower. I don't even know the temperature at that point.
You need to get some Taylor Swift in your life, like the Grass Factor's doing. Matt he's turned over a new leaf. He sent me
No,
and Hungry
but
Southerner
it-
his
it all-
playlist the other day. It was all Taylor Swift.
It
In all
was, and I was
seriousness, no, I mean,
contemplating
you guys
putting my head underneath a tractor trailer tire.
you guys talk about it all the time, and I think one of the reasons why I relate so much, especially with the golf industry and stuff, is you're pushing yourself so fucking hard, and there's a limit to what your body can do, and at the end of the day,
It takes you
feel
till
it,
you're in your 30s though to figure that out. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's where they get you. Just all
Unfortunately, I'm
pride and
35 and
zeal.
haven't figured that out yet.
You'd say it's a short. It's a sprint. It's a sprint. That's what you're
Exactly.
going through. Not. It's 100 hours a week for the rest of this year. Then you got some major problems over there.
There's nothing
Yeah,
like
there's a
sprinting
light at the end of
towards
the tunnel, I'm
a
told.
heart attack.
Yeah.
Well, there's
well,
that,
hey,
and then
you
I was gonna say, who
Go ahead, Demay.
knows? I mean, no, I was gonna say you've got some light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, our friend here, he doesn't, because people like to jam weird objects and get them lodged in their ear, nose, and throat quite often, and so he's got job security. But so do we,
All the
because
time.
people try to kill. People try to give shitty advice on YouTube and in real life on how to grow grass, and that's why. Listen, we share that in common, right? People do dumb shit, and they come to us for help. That's what we're here for. We're
Well,
both on the same wavelength. So, how can we help you today?
Hey,
I'll
real
just
quick,
say there's another-
playground of sound.
another
Go
quote.
fuck yourself. Go to some other live stream. Go fuck yourself, cocksucker. Get the fuck off our stream. All right, go ahead, ENT. What you got, buddy?
No, I think it's apt to say there's another quote that Matt won't know, but stupid is as stupid does.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, that one.
Mama
That
Mama
one.
Is that
always
Forrest
said.
Gump?
That is
Mama
Forrest
said
Gump.
they was
Yeah.
my magic
That's
dude.
Forrest Gump. That's Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
You're shit out of luck.
cool,
I've
cool,
seen
cool.
Forrest Gump.
Oh,
That's a-
oh, the one movie Matt has seen, Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one movie.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, guys, the question I actually have for you guys is about so I bought the Massport Rotorola, and I fucking love it. It's a monster on my lawn, and it's specifically, before I did the renovation and everything, it really did a tough time with the turnarounds. Like, I was just destroying my edges, because no matter what I did, every time I turned around, it was just, really digging into the grass and everything, because it's just that single cylinder. And now I know I had said something to you, Ryan, about getting some turnaround mats, kind of jokingly, but what other strategies do you guys have about that issue specifically?
If you don't have
Okay.
like a dual drum, like where it's split in the middle, like a split drum, it's gonna be a pain in the ass no
No.
matter what. So
It's going to be rough.
let me
Yeah.
see if I can look up the turning boards that you can make. I'm sure these things are like ridiculously expensive.
Hey, I mean,
But-
I've seen golf courses drop, the vinyl lattice that you can buy at like
That's-
Lowe's. Just drop,
Yeah,
drop
that's what
pieces.
Ryan was talking.
Yeah, just drop pieces of that vinyl lattice on the ground where you got to turn. And my other advice regarding turns is slow down. That's my
Okay.
other advice on turns. Is just move slowly and not try to whip that turn, because you see that turn that you see the people on the golf course behind the walk behind mowers doing, if that is a turn done on what they consider the garbage grass, which would be the apron and collar around the green. They're not actually turning like that on the green. So that's why
Yeah.
they can do that. But as far as if you're actually having to turn on desirable turf grass, I would just kind of turn as slowly and deliberately as possible. Make sure any kind of drives are not engaged when manually tipping the mower up and turning it around.
Yeah.
That's just how you have to do it. And by the way, I routinely turn on not only a bowling green but also, regular lawns. And the thing is that I generally don't tear up the grass. I usually don't. But that's because I'm turning with the drives all disengaged, and I'm just tipping it up and pivoting slowly.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Yeah. So taking your time.
Okay.
Take your time. Yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
Slow down. This isn't a race.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
other
It's definitely a challenge because the machine is so heavy. You know. But
Is
what are
it
you mowing with again?
yeah.
the
What's
Massport
that?
Rotorola?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a bastard. That's a bastard.
And I'm on a bit of a incline too, so
Yeah.
I like the
I
challenges.
take a look at the YouTube chat. I linked you some pre-made turning boards. These are just like basically I think they're 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch HDPE sheets. You can get them in 2x4 or 2x8 and ship to your door. Right, that's a big thing these days. And you can move
Yeah.
those around to turn. The lattice, just the only thing that sucks about the lattice is that it obviously it's rigid, where these have a little bit of give to them, so they'll follow contours a little bit. Like if you got a sidewalk transition or something like that, where it can be kind of hokey with that lattice. But if nothing else, start with the lattice and work your way up to this, or just go all in on this because it makes a big difference, and especially for protecting the drum on that Rotorola, which is sort of the whole point you
Yeah.
bought the damn thing in the first place. It might be
Right.
of good value to protect that investment.
Yeah. I'm hoping that with the new cultivars there that they'll be better with the traffic tolerance than the shit I had there before. So, fingers crossed. We'll see. Itching to get out there and start mowing again, and that's actually leads into my second question real quick. Is that I still I would say I've got about 80% coverage. Some spots a little bare. When what I found at the end of the season last year is I took out the Rotorola once or twice, and I was picking up so much sand that I was dulling out the blades within 1 or 2 passes. Like, when do you think it'll get to a point where I can actually use that thing again, or is it always going to be picking up sand?
How low are you trying to mow with that Rotorola? First of all.
And so truly, I've been at about 1.5 inches. Hasn't been super low. I'm on, either the second or third notch on that thing, and I think it goes down to like 0.75 or something.
Right.
It goes
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, because my only other thought on if somebody tells me they're picking up sand, that almost
Yeah.
tells me that the sand that they have in their lawn really, really needs to get watered in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Where,
my
where,
only
where, where
thought.
are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in Syracuse.
Okay.
New York. Yeah, New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you really start growing when? Late April is like when things really
Yeah.
take off.
When things start. Yeah. I mean, they're starting to green up a little bit now, and but I think growth potential for April is like, I want to say 11% or something stupid. So it isn't until the end of April, beginning of May when things really kick off.
So, and realistically, the number of cuts between now and the end of April that you're going to be able to get in is going to be what, like 3, maybe 4?
Yeah, I mean, if it warms up, yeah, it depends. It's supposed to get down to the teens this week, so.
Oh shit! So, man,
Oh,
by
Lord.
the time you're ready to like regularly cut, I think you're going to be good to throw that bad boy on it. You're not going to be pulling any sand, and I mean, it'll be like it was never there.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, and it'll happen damn near instantaneously, like where you go out and you're just gonna be like, oh my God, I've got a yard. Like, I'm sure you've seen it before. Once it starts going, I mean, there's no stopping it. It's go time.
It's going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I'm gonna plug in a couple of the real empty spots so that way, like, I'm not picking up sand there. But, yeah, definitely this time of year, you guys all know, it's the itch is there. So,
I appreciate your time, guys. I love the show. Watch every week and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, we appreciate you. Thank you for saving lives one day at a time.
one weird object in the ear at a time.
Oh, yuck. Yuck. Ooh.
That's right. Allowing one more person peace and solace. Absolutely. You have a good night.
Later.
All right. We had a question here from Kevin said, is there any truth to effectiveness of products like RGS, micros, et cetera? Or am I better off just focusing on a standard plan with pre-emergence, FERT, and fungicide? I want to make it clear, are there benefits to using products like that? Yes, there are. But here's the thing is that you're only going to see the benefit of that if you have everything dialed in to a T. Like, for instance, when Ben the Lawn Guardian called in earlier and how he's been working on dialing in that fertility program. Once that is nailed, and when I say nailed, and you can discount the overwhelming majority of issues you're going to face on a year in, year out basis as not related to fertility or nitrogen management, then that's when you can start looking at different things that may be able to help. Now, you have to remember, a lot of the research that is shown on this has to do with the timing of the applications and the frequency of applications. And there's very, very narrow windows where you can achieve success from things like this. And if you're not operating within those windows, then you're effectively burning cash for the sake of burning cash. I've done a very, very comprehensive 45-minute video going through the majority of research related to humic acid and turfgrass. Feel free to check that out. And it's going to be, is humic acid a scam? And then I also did a very in-depth video on micronutrients as well. Feel free to go through that. But the overwhelming majority of gains that are going to be made will be done so with NP and K. And then from that point forward, it will be dialing in your disease management program, if that's something you're facing, or a pest management program, if that's something you're facing. When you have that figured out and you're looking to do something else, like, say, for instance, take your height of cut from 1.5 inches to 1/4 of an inch. That's where you can get creative with different tools in the toolbox of trying to achieve these types of things. What I want to make clear is that if you go get it right now and apply it every week or every other week or every month because it feels good, you're not getting anything out of that more than what you would just nitrogen. And there is a shitload of supporting evidence to go along with that statement. It's just difficult to find on YouTube. I think the only two people who are actively talking about that on YouTube would be us and Turf Truth. And Turf Truth comes with a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Controversy, because of how I just saw Organic Ass Warrior come through in the chat, and that made me laugh out loud. Distracted me. It comes with a lot of controversy because he's so, Turf Truth is so rigid towards only what has been vetted through independent university of research, which oftentimes doesn't. It tells the majority of the story, but maybe not necessarily all of the story. So take that for what it's worth. Continue seeing the other side of the story other than just what you see on YouTube. Because remember, YouTube is not real life. You're not going to get a turfgrass degree on YouTube, and you're not going to get exposed to the real world of turf management on YouTube either. So there you go. Somebody else said here, what is the max in rate for AMS granular and melted before you burn? For granular, you can get away, as long as you have sufficient irrigation, up to 3/4 of a pound of actual N from AMS. So that would be, 4 to 5 pounds of product per 1,000 square feet melted and sprayed. You start getting risky somewhere around 1/4 of a pound. So that would be 1 pound of actual product per 1,000 square feet, unless you're doing ultra high volumes. Even at 1/4 of a pound, you want to be somewhere around 2 gallons of carrier volume per 1,000 square feet. At 1 gallon, you need to be somewhere around 1/10 of a pound, and also irrigating that with pretty good swiftness after application. I think we've got time for a call or two more. If you would like to call in, 804. Wait, hang on. I'm trying to do this from memory and I can't do it. I had it in my head. 804, well, I'm sorry, 304 804 7277. 304 804 7277. 304 80 grass. And we have a caller. Caller, you're live.
Hello, how are you guys tonight?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. This is TK.
Oh, snap! What are you doing?
Friend, I know, right?
Yeah. You got people burning down the roads tonight, or are you doing your other job? I know. Listen, for those of you that don't know,
We're doing a little bit of
tell his
both.
wife is the hardest working
So the
woman
guys are on the
in the
road.
world.
Yeah, the guys are on the road, and I'm doing a little bit of doctoring. But I got a thing that I'm doing now. Like New Edition is on tour. It's a boy band from the 80s and 90s. I'm following them around the country. Don't tell Tilly Coleman though; he doesn't really know.
Listen, I'm not familiar with this. How close to like New Kids on the Block is this? Is this same
Yeah, it's
time frame?
pretty much the same thing. Yeah, Bobby
Oh,
Brown.
my goodness.
Yes, and I've been getting on the front row, friend. I'm living my best life. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So, my husband is sitting around here listening to you guys. You're pretty interesting. I like it. I like it. So I got some questions. But these
Okay.
are wife questions. So I don't know if that's okay, but I'm going to ask them
That's
anyway
all
since
right.
I'm on the air now.
Ask away.
Okay.
Ask away.
Okay. So my first question is, why does my grass look like it has scabies? Half of it's dead and half of it's green. And when will it get better? Because it looks a hot monkey mess. Why is that? Oh, crickets.
Oops.
Wait,
Sir, I
sorry,
think you're
I
muted.
muted myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have not fully greened up yet because of where you are in the transition zone. So, as you know, I'm just a stone's throw away from you. It has not quite gotten warm enough for the Bermuda to fully break dormancy, and so it's just going to take a little bit more time and some warmer days. Unfortunately, we got a cold snap coming through tomorrow, but if you look a little later in the forecast, we've got a 78 degree, maybe an 80-degree day in our future. And so realistically, we're probably another month away before it's going back to the golf course type quality that you're used to seeing out there.
Okay. Okay, I'll give you that. I'm okay with that answer.
Is that
Okay.
fair enough?
That's fair enough, because my neighbors have all this green grass, but I think he said that they use another grass, like a cold grass or
They
something, to make to
they
make it
do. They
green, but
use
he
a cool
doesn't.
season grass, and it's to be honest, look, hey, it looks good right now, but I want you to take a look at what that looks like come 4th of July when you're having people over for parties, when it's nice outside, you want to sit on the back deck and have a few adult beverages and everything I'm telling you, all that grass is just going to look like hot mess. Where you're going to be
Okay.
on point is that everything's going to be rocking and rolling and it's going to be enjoyable to have people over and they're all going to wonder like, what in the hell are you doing to your yard? Because it looks amazing. And then that's when you get
Well,
to the
they
point at Telly and be like, I don't know. He's got his do whip and he's out here raising hell with it.
Well, people do stop by, and I don't understand why. I mean, I get it. The grass looks nice when it's warm, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
So mhm.
so just let it wake up for the summer, and when it's summer, it's literally party time for Bermuda. Okay, it's party
Okay.
time. Okay, so
Okay. So my next question is, I don't know if you guys know. You probably know because you probably talk to them all the time. Well, why do we have all this sand? Why are we getting sand all the time?
okay, okay. The reason why is because that kind of grass actually grows better on sand, and it's easier to manage and maintain on sand than it is to manage and maintain it on dirt. That's why.
So do I need to move to the beach?
Ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
you
you,
Yes.
do.
friend. That's what I'm
However,
talking about.
however,
Right there.
However, if you do move to the beach, do not let some jerkhead landscape person talk you into putting dirt or topsoil on top of that sand. And the moment he does, shoot him and bury him.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
okay. I'm
I mean-
okay with that too. I'm okay with that. So,
Yeah.
why is there so much sand?
Okay, it's because
Part of it too was, if I recall correctly, you had a significant low spot in one area of your yard too, right?
it was a
I guess.
low area that was also not level, because the other like thing about keeping that kind of grass nice is being able to mow it low. And it's hard to mow it
Oh.
low. And it's hard to mow it low when it's resembles the surface of Mars. It's not okay, it's not easy, and there's two things to do if the surface of the lawn resembles the surface of another planet. Is one, you can give up and just mow it really high, and it's not going to look as good, or you can put layers of sand on top of the grass. The grass will grow through the sand, and from that point on, it's going to be relatively flat.
Okay.
And for
Okay.
me, my favorite word is flat.
Okay. Okay. I can give
Okay.
you this. I've asked these questions, but I don't get the answers that I want. So I thought I would ask you guys. So I got another one.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Coleman is really interested in one of these mower things. I think it's a triplex mower that I keep hearing about.
Yes.
Those things are like 5 internal organs. Why are they so expensive?
Okay. It is
Yeah, it's not
because
funny if you're not the one buying it.
no. Okay. That's because there's not a lot of them made or used compared to other types of mowers, because normally triplex mowers, unfortunately, seem to only be used on golf courses and sports fields normally. But whereas to me, if I were God, most lawns in Hawaii and the southern United States would be mowed with a triplex if I were God.
TK, think about like this. You know how much a tractor trailer costs, right? Because it's an investment, but you think about how much mileage you get out of it, right? And it would
Right.
be the same thing. It's a purchase, but it's a one-time purchase, and it's a lot of machine. So one of the things is that you make the initial investment, and it's going to free up Telly from having to spend 4 hours on Saturday morning and Thursday morning and Tuesday morning out there walking like a crazy person all over the yard while the neighbors drive by, stop and ask questions. He's got to pat babies, kiss babies on the head, and pretend like he's friends with all the dogs in the neighborhood. And he'll be in, he'll be out, and then y'all get to do what y'all do best, and that's whatever. Hell, I don't know, whatever y'all do best. I realized where that was
You
going,
so
and I was like,
dirty.
God, bang, I'm head on the wall.
Well, I mean, speaking of dirty, Ryan's back.
J-Pink, cue me up on camera too there. Hey, you gotta have that down here on YouTube.
So I am
Everyone.
upstairs, and you know how big of a surprise it is
to be upstairs and then hear somebody that I know downstairs talking on the phone. Yeah. So I hope you told her that the triplex is necessary and mandatory. And if I don't have it, then, I'll spend all my time outside mowing. And, skin camp is a thing.
He said move to the beach. He said we're gonna move.
I
to
heard
the beach.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna,
yeah. You
we're
heard
gonna,
that part too. Yeah, you heard that
You know,
part
So-
too.
you know,
but
what
then-
you really need, what I really need to know is how much I can drink and still real mow safely. That's, that's the
you-
real
you
question.
know, Listen, if you move to the beach though, Ted, How To with Doc's got that beach house now, and he's already co-opted one photo of your lawn, right? He's just looking for
Yeah,
you to
he
move to the
stole
beach so
one
he can get
photo.
a beach house photo for you. Yeah, see,
yeah, yeah.
it's all a conspiracy, Telly. It's all a conspiracy.
But-
That's it. That's it.
But the serious question is, as long as you're able to mow in relatively straight lines and not crash into anything, because I understand that in certain states, or in many states, operating a mower while intoxicated is equivalent to driving while intoxicated. I mean, I do know
If
about
that-
that.
If that's the case, I should not have a driver's license right now because
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, no,
Yeah.
really. I mean, it's yeah, it is a thing because I know that there's some guys that think that they're being funny, tying one on and then riding their garden tractor to the gas station or the liquor store for more beer.
My
Pull
two
over,
favorite
sir.
stories with alcohol and equipment operation is every year we would have a big golf tournament at it's kind of like our
Mhm.
biggest one of the year for members, and so they'd go out and play golf all day. We would sit at the shop and drink from 8 until about 8 a.m. until about 6 p.m. and go out and remow everything on the golf course, cut cups, like do a bunch of
Mhm.
other stuff. And let me tell you what, well above, multiples above the legal limit in doing that. Everybody.
Well, I'm
it
just glad
was-
that takes place in your neck of the woods and not just a southern thing, because I'm sure you were going to make a comment about that.
No, it's an
No.
every person thing, no matter where you
There we go.
identify
You see-
with geographically.
Yeah.
So
You see,
TK,
Kelly,
this is-
ahead,
I'm
Ray, go
literally
ahead.
one of the few non-drinking turf people. Okay, I'm one of the few.
Okay.
True.
Designated
Yeah,
driver,
it's true.
huh?
Yeah,
And that's okay. That's okay. And
TK,
what I don't want to do is come home and see him passed out in the yard. Because when I
Oh,
come home,
no.
I'm off. When I'm off, and I'm not even going to call 911. I'm just going to step over him and go on into the house.
Oh,
look,
That's why I need a
take
triplex.
your
right
health
there,
care
see?
take your healthcare provider hat off, and I listen. Yeah,
Oh, when I'm off, I'm
I
off.
have mowed
When,
hours
when
and
I'm off,
hours
I'm
and
off.
hours.
I'm not doing any extra.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. See, I have been so inebriated from the night before that I'm not even certain how I got to work, and managed to mow everything beautifully and perfectly, and go on about my day. So there's something about a triplex that restores sanity to an inebriated mind. It's quite like magic.
Yeah, it's harder than
I
driving.
was
Like
going
it's
to
way
say
more
muscle
involved.
memory until you said the triplex, but I think y'all are in cahoots.
That's not true. That is not true.
I'm getting a
That's
note
not
here
true.
that says, "Go ahead and buy that triplex. It would be a good idea. Thank you."
Well, I appreciate y'all letting me call in and ask my questions. So when I have any
No,
more,
listen.
since I don't get the answers I want at home, I know who I
Uh-oh.
can call.
Uh-oh.
We will
Oh,
never
no.
BS you. We will never
No.
BS you. We might try to steer things a certain way or another, but we will never BS you. We cannot tell a lie. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll,
Thank you
we'll
so
tell
much.
it like
But
it is.
you confirmed what he says, but he doesn't give me paragraphs. He gives me 1 and 2 word answers. So I appreciate it. You get a different telly than I have at home.
Oh,
Ah, man.
oh man.
Oh.
I don't
All right, Telly, you
understand. Am
gotta
I
go
in
swear and be
trouble
under
now?
oath.
I don't know.
You're
Maybe,
Yeah.
Telly. Maybe.
What's the
Maybe.
what's the penalty for marital perjury? I don't know.
Oh. Ask Jesse. Ask Jesse that one.
Oh
Jay
man.
Biscayla.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
thank y'all for letting me call in. I'm gonna let somebody
Thank
else
you.
call in. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, TK. LTK Trucking, check them out. Listen, when it was the craziest thing. We got into a drastic pinch when we were setting up Robo. Next caller is coming up. Caller,
what's
hang on
going on,
one
y'all?
second for me here. Hang on one second.
Okay.
And LTK Trucking got us out in a pinch. Let me tell you, it was unbelievable pricing. And if you have any kind of logistic issue, need something moved from point A to point B, check them out. LTK Trucking, Telly and his wife were unbelievable to work with, and absolutely saved my ass. Caller, who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
This is Lawn Care Monster from Kentucky.
What's up, dude?
Yeah. Hey.
In the wait, are you in Madisonville or you're in Madisonville, right?
Madisonville. Yeah, Madisonville.
Golly, man, dude, I'm sorry. I have J Pink got me a shirt that says Kentucky, and I should be
Oh
wearing
my
it right
God.
now. As you know, I gave my heart and soul to Madisonville many years ago, and I'm still bitter about it. But how can we help you, sir?
I would be better too. I have a quick question. Two of them actually. So I have a client and I sent J Pink a picture of the client's house. I don't know if he can bring it up or not, but basically, she has a yard in the back that's has a pretty good slope on it. It's maybe a 30 to 25% slope in the back.
Oh my goodness.
And she just got her whole landscape redone, and she wants really nice grass. And in the front is nothing but weeds. Well, what the landscape company did was they took the netting with the straw or the hay, and they put it all through the back of the yard. Yeah, if you can look, there's a pool back there. All that slopes down together, and right there behind the tree, it slopes even more. And so she has no grass because they did it in the middle of the summer, and there's nothing there. Well, my thing is, what can I do to try to get grass to grow there quick? Now it's starting to heat up. So, my thinking is it's going to be really hard to grow anything because she doesn't have irrigation. She's going to have to water it constantly, especially going into the summer. And she's going to have erosion problems in the back if something doesn't grow quick. So,
How big of an area is that?
what do y'all think?
Roughly? How big of an area is that? Just ballpark?
So her backyard is 26,000 square feet, but that includes some of that over there on the other side of the pool. So that may be, I don't know, that may be probably maybe 12,000 square feet, maybe right there.
12,000 square feet. Okay. Let me do some quick math while y'all are thinking here. I got some ideas.
First things first is, are you going to be able to get grass up quick in that? No. And the timing of it between where you've got optimal temperatures for germination to maturity before it starts getting sweltering hot in your area is very, very narrow. So I would almost say, you can do a spring seeding, but I would definitely caveat that to her. And here's the other thing too: is that you're not going to be able to plug or slit seed into that. You could broadcast seed over it. I've done it before over netting and gotten establishment to take place. It's not ideal. It's not going to be perfect, but it has happened before. But I would caveat that any spring seeding you do, you're going to have to repeat in the fall without a doubt. And so she's going to be double banged for seed costs, back to back in a single season. And the other thing too is that do you want to take up all that netting?
Well, I've already
Yes.
because well, I have something else to suggest, but y'all won't like it. But I have already told her to pull a netting up because like it's all through her yard, even where there is grass, and it was getting stuck in my lawnmower blades. And so I'd asked her to pull up some of that netting because there was nothing there to hold it. And so it just like the more the wind that come, the more it was rolling it up, and there was nothing I could do, So her front yard, you can see some grass like right in front of that tree, and it kind of looks like a little bit of that in the front yard, but it's still almost like 90% weeds. Another thing I was thinking of, and I know y'all are gonna hate this, but hydro seeding, like what about that? Like, is there anything good about doing that to get something to grow quick besides like seeding or plugging or slice seeding?
Okay.
I don't know if
You're
you'll
saying
get it
this is
through the
12th?
netting.
No. The netting. Okay. Number one, the netting's got to go. Okay. The netting has got to go. All right. This is a chastity cage on the penis of this lawn that needs to fuck the summer and get through the year. I'm sorry. I don't know why that came out of me, but it's Saturday night. I'm on my 5th beer. It had to come out that way. Just the way it is. Okay. Ray, the librarian, is on duty. All right. So number one, the netting's all got to go. Number two, don't keep sitting up in there. You're teasing me. Fire. Anyway, so the netting's got to go. The next thing is I would absolutely look at the hydro seed option. I think you can seed into this. I think you can rough it up and either slit seed or broadcast seed over top of it and then hydro mulch it. So I would apply the seed directly to the soil and then I would hydro mulch this. And I would strongly consider, at least in the first go around here in the spring, because as Matt said, you're going to have issues with, spring rains, summer thunderstorms, things like that. So not using a typical hydro mulch, but one that's called Flexterra from Profile Products. So it is a heavy duty product that will hold up way better than your typical wood fiber and paper hydro mulch. So not plugging the product.
What was that product again? I'm sorry.
Flexterra, Flexterra, and it's made by Profile Products. Any erosion control supply house, most turf supply houses will carry it. Do you have a hydro seed, or would you do this on your own? Or Site One would carry it. Yeah, they would.
I usually do all my stuff
gonna?
through Site One because.
Okay. Now, do you?
Yeah, because they're
gonna?
the only one around here that supply anything that I need as far as like herbicides or any kind of
You're in
mold.
Western or Eastern
any kind of
Kentucky?
fertilizer. Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky.
About 45 minutes from Evansville, Indiana.
Oh, okay. Well, then I know. Yeah. At worst case, you can go up there to. I think the boys at 10 Barge might have some stuff like that. So, worst case.
Yeah, they could probably get it.
Yeah, they could get it because they're part
I do
of.
not have a hydro seeder or anything of that sort. So anything with hydro seeding, I would probably have to rent or something.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh
either
my
rent it
gosh.
or is it anybody you can sub there locally?
Sorry, I just seen that picture on there. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. No. Mulcher is clean from previous.
Sorry, say it again, Ryan. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, no. It's okay. I'm just reading a question. Ear, Nose, and Turf is saying, how do you ensure that the hydro mulcher is clean from previous seedings? You don't. But you can. I mean, you can run water through it. You can do what you want, but there ain't no getting it clean. I mean, it would take you days.
And let's be clear about that too. Is that sometimes in these hydro seeding, they're going to be running like millet, vetch, these obscure grass types, grass species for specific erosion purposes, right? Like I've done some really, really nasty
Annual
erosion
ride.
projects. Yeah, where like fetch made up 80% of the contents because the slope was like literally the face of a mountainside. And this is about the only thing you could get to hold on it with enough of a root system to keep it from sliding. So um there you may run into that if you've never done it yourself. It's not incredibly difficult. Renting one and doing the job is, fill it up with water and go blast it in your backyard and see what it feels like. Get used to the pressure of the hose and that kind of fun stuff, and what your refill time is. Like if you got a 10,000 square foot tank, then figure out how long it takes you to spray 10,000 square feet. Maybe rent it for 2 days. Who's the one that I can't remember? Like Sunbelt Rentals and stuff usually rents that.
Yeah, they'll carry it.
What is the
Yep.
name of that brand?
Get you a Finn. Finn.
A
Finn.
Finn. Yeah. And
So
it is an undertaking, and you do want a day to practice and then a day to execute. Don't get out there having never operated it and get on that property and try to do it for the first time, because you're going to burn a ton of money, and you're going to have one hell of a heartache and a mess at the same time.
25 divided by.
Well, I didn't know if it would be worth kind of
Oh,
subbing out to a company that does that instead of me having to do it.
could be the other option for you. And let me pull this up. If I can get a better picture of it here. Hang on. Bear with me here. Oh, yeah. This is perfect. Oh, that's a shit. These bastards.
I could just go to
All
Lowe's
right.
and buy the hose and sprayer one.
Oh, don't say
Don't
that.
do that.
Don't say that.
Don't do that.
I'm getting fucking anxiety just hearing that. Goodness. All right. Here we go. Let's do this, J Pink. Go ahead and throw this up, J Pink, if you would please. Here is your other option. This would not be cheap, but you know what? Girlfriend has already done fucked up her lawn, and she needs to unfuck it, and it's not going to be cheap. So this is the Futura, Futerra, netless blanket, also made by Profile Products. This is kind of like overseeding in a mat, except for it doesn't have the net in it. So this is 100% biodegradable. The grass will come up through this, and then it biodegrades. You never see it again. You don't have to touch it, anything like that. The only thing that gets a little bit weird is sometimes, like if it bunches up, your mower will chop through it. It doesn't get tangled up in your mower, though, because there's no net. It just kind of gets flung out like you're hitting a chunk of, clippings or something like that. So this is another option.
So that's
These
an actual
are
netting, kind
there's
of.
no net. It's a Futura netless blanket. So this is a seed blanket that'll prevent erosion, right, in sloped areas. However, it has no net in it. It's 100% biodegradable. So you put the seed down, you cover it up with this thing, you walk away from it, you keep it watered, the grass grows up through it, it consumes it, it gets biodegraded, you never see it again. Done.
So basically, it's just like I kind of oversee the lawn, then lay this over top of it, water it, and walk
Correct.
away.
Correct. And so once they start mowing, the
Never
thing is
seen
with
that.
these things,
That's pretty cool.
you gotta wait a little while longer to seed it. So you're gonna end up in the, I would say, 21 to 22 cents, a square foot on this bad boy. Yeah, $115 plus tax. So yeah, call it 25 cents a square foot. So girlfriend's gonna pay, $3,000 to cover this thing, but I think on a especially now with where hydro mulch is on jobs, you're not going to be too far off that. You might be 10 cents better on that on a job site right now, especially with that size, like 12,000 square feet and in a backyard, not great access. Like you got a lot of things working against you. So this is not going to be cheap to fix this.
And I would
cheaper than
make
sod.
it clear. I
Cheaper
would
than
make
sod?
it clear to her, because
Go
I
ahead.
guarantee you she paid a ton of money to have done what was done, and try to be emotionally sympathetic towards that, but don't underbid yourself as a result of her having paid for this, right? Like you should not have to carry the consequence of a contractor doing bad work financially, right? So this is one of those
Right.
instances where whatever the cost is what the cost is, and she's gonna be really upset about it. But That's just business.
That's
Well,
just how
another
it
thing,
has to
I
be.
sent a soil sample, I think, to um Doc, I think, but the pH down there was like 5.5
Mm-hmm.
because of all the new soil that they put in. And so
Mm-hmm.
that, I mean, and I just got finished putting some lime down. The first application of lime. I mean, does that affect it, or do I need to wait till the pH gets a little bit higher to do that?
No,
Nope.
you're good.
Nope.
Rock
Nope.
and roll.
No.
Okay.
Get on it right now. And other thing that I would consider doing is, here's my pet peeve or my pet dislike in a lawn.
This really chaps his ass.
I can't stand it when people that call themselves landscapers create ditches through the middle of somebody's effing yard. Okay?
Yep.
Man, we'll come out here and
is-
grade that.
Yeah, why is this not flat? Okay? Why is this not flat? Why is this a damn ditch going from her pavers to the, to the river behind? It's like, what is that? I mean, are you carrying water to a cotton field? I mean,
Probably because
that is absurd.
They would have had to bring in a bunch. They probably would have had to bring in a bunch of dirt. It's probably going with lay of the land, and
And a
they just,
retaining wall.
yeah, they made it work. They made it work.
But
So
you know what? It ain't flat. It ain't flat. I mean, if it needs to be grass, it's supposed to be flat. I mean, I don't know what language I have to use when saying the word flat to landscape people.
Welcome,
this is
welcome to the
Kentucky. There's
South.
nothing flat here.
now,
Well,
I mean, listen, the two things that shouldn't be flat in this world, according to Ray, are, this lawn right here and middle-aged women wearing yoga pants. So
Well,
that's
that,
we've established that.
That's a great comparison. Oh, dude, that's
I would
funny.
also cut down that cedar or cypress,
yeah, it's a
whatever
cedar.
that.
Yeah,
cedar
that tree.
I'd cut that
Chainsaw
one
time.
down.
And
I understand
I'd
not
also
wanting to
She
get
had
rid
a
of the oak,
mess
leave
load
the
of
oak. Yeah.
I think over on the right side of her house, she's got like two gigantic gumball trees, and she's gonna get those cut down. I'm not sure why she didn't cut this one down, because there was about 3 or 4 right there where that pool was that they already had cut down. So maybe I'll talk her into doing that.
No, I mean, here's how I'd do it. I mean, I'd go out there and notch that before your next big thunderstorm, right into that above ground. She gets rid of the tree. She gets a new in-ground pool and probably a grade job out of it, and everybody wins. That's what I'd do. That's the easy way to solve this whole problem. I don't know how it got like that, officer.
Yeah, because
Well,
this is a hideous job where there's a ditch right in the middle of the damn lawn. I mean, it's like, my God.
He's not gonna get over this. He's gonna be talking about this all week.
No, you know why ditches are a sore subject with me? Because it is difficult to mow the grass correctly in and around that ditch. And the next thing I know, I have to answer the question, how come the lawn looks funny over there? It's because your freaking landscaper put a ditch through your yard.
Sons of bitches.
If you think this is bad, that one picture that JP put up of her front yard, I don't know if he can still do that or not, but there's a picture that I took of the front yard, and it's, my gosh, they had netting there. I'm assuming they put ryegrass down, is what I'm assuming, because like there's nothing there. I don't know what else they would have put that would have died off so quick, but the front yard is like almost 90% weeds, and I'm almost reluctant to spray anything to kill the weeds out, because I'm trying to get the front yard set up for the fall time. That way there's not like a ton of weeds we have to kill, And so with the front yard being so bad of weeds, I was almost reluctant to even spray anything to kill that. I mean, is that out of the realm of thinking, or I mean, should I just leave it until the fall time, then try to, put some herbicides on it to kill them weeds?
Yeah, unless you get some real good grass growing this spring, leaving it as bare soil is probably not ideal.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of
Unless
net
you-
there. You can see how it's rolling up right there, where
Mhm.
where nothing's holding it down, and
This is
yeah, it's just a mess. But that's all I had. I do have something funny to tell y'all. So there was a guy that
All
I
right,
went
let's
and I
hear
was checking out the lawn that I spray his lawn and fertilize, weed control and fertilize. And he happened to tell me, he comes out and he goes, "Oh man, I forgot to tell you, I forgot to stop True Green, and they come by the house and fertilize my lawn." And he goes, "Is that a bad thing?" And I'm like, "Well, what did they put down?" He goes, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Well, I need to know what they put down." And he's like, "I'll try to find out if I can." So they probably just messed up everything going into the summertime, because this freaking grass is like glowing green right now. Oh man. So I don't know. Is
It
that,
should be all right.
have y'all ever dealt with
You know,
something like
it
that?
should. Yes, 1,000 times, 100,000 times, and typically, if True Green is putting something down, they're putting down their liquid, 1902 or whatever their liquid formulation is. So yeah, it'll be green right now, but that fertilizer that's applied will be gone in 2 to 4 weeks, and so
Nah, good deal.
you're you're good to operate as normal. I would not even worry about that whatsoever.
Well, he was a True Green, and like he had them all year long. And I was over there last year, and within 2 applications, I cleaned up their lawn more than what True Green did last year. And now he has green grass growing in spots that True Green never could fix, which is pathetic. 2 applications, I fixed his lawn quicker than True Green did all year long. It's pretty bad. Not bad from True Green or nothing.
That should just be your freaking yard sign that you put in everybody's yard. Like, fix it 2 apps, did more in 2 weeks than True Green could do all year.
It's awful. Guys, listen, I'll let you get off here. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking your time off to help me with those questions. And I'll talk to, what'd you call her, old girlfriend?
Old girlfriend. Yep. You get her mind right. You get her one.
All right, man. Thanks. Y'all have a good. It's good seeing you, Matt. Are you? They've been
you
talking
too,
about you
sir.
being scared of heights. Is that true?
Oh, dude, you have no idea. I'm 6'4" and I'm scared of my own damn height looking at my feet. So yeah, it's more than true.
Oh, that's funny. It was good seeing you, man. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
All right, you too. Look at that. The saving grace from Kentucky itself. The lawn care monster. Because
What
listen,
did
there's
your
not a
shirt
lot of good
say?
things coming out of Kentucky. Kensucky
Kensuck
is
me?
what it said.
Oh, I thought it was Kensuck me.
Kentucky, more like Kentucky. Oh, that is bad. That is so
Look,
bad.
It would have been better if it said Kensuck me. I'd wear that shirt.
I had a customer come in town, and they are a company based out of Kentucky, and I wore my Kentucky shirt and proudly displayed it, and it went about as well as you could imagine it would. It generated some laughs and some honest commentary, and I was proud about it.
Well,
boys, let's
yeah.
go ahead and wrap this up because we said we were going to do this for an hour. We've run really long. Let's try and get an after show in, and I don't know, maybe tomorrow we can record Burn and Return because I'm actually off tomorrow.
You say
Ooh.
that.
Tank.
You say that. Lick my tank.
No one's doing anything this weekend, so I don't have to worry about anything breaking. And that is
you might get your
is a
but
nice
you might
thing.
but you might get your taint licked? Maybe.
Sign me up for that.
Speaking of
Sit
being
on
afraid
my
of
face
heights.
until I die. Yeah. That was some inside baseball there. Ooh, boy. All right, everybody. If you are interested in more content like this, it is very adult adult content. There's 2 ways to get access to it. You go to patreon.com/burn-and-return and become a supporting member there, or you can hit the join button down below. Either way, it'll take you to the same place. There are way more perks with Patreon, so we recommend that because less money goes to the damn Google sphere, and we get to stay out from underneath there. Also, if we get 5 more patrons, we're going to open up a new thing where we introduce Matt into society. I'm going to be exposed to society and learn a little bit of culture, and that is going to be through movies. Because for those of you that don't know, I have not seen but a few movies in my life, and so the cast and crew here are going to make me sit through this and reintegrate me back into normalcy, or attempt to. So check it out, patreon.com/burn-and-return. You get access to all kinds of behind the scenes information with us, and get to hang out. We do some special members only events, and hang out on Zoom calls and drink a lot of beer together and talk a lot of shit and all that fun stuff, and also talk about grass stuff. But we also have exclusive content like our show after the show or show before the show, and we have a lot of good time there. But again, if you're not into bad words and adult humor and all that fun stuff, no harm, no foul. I'm so sorry for dropping the F-bomb and calling that guy a sea sucker on here, but he put a horrific thing in the chat, and it pissed me off, and so I had to share my feelings on that. So anyway,
address it appropriately there.
I did. I
address it appropriately. Okay.
That guy was a sea sucker, and he deserved every inch that he got into his throat. All right, everybody, we'll catch y'all on the flip side.